Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's reading is What Does Your Future Self Want You to Know? What advice do they have for you? We'll see what messages come through. And also, towards the end of the Oracle cards, what is your future self preparing you for? And yeah, okay, so we have 3 groups for you to choose from: Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. If you need to pause the video so you can take a moment to choose, feel free, but I will see you in your readings. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the first group in this reading to be for you, what does your future self want you to know? All right, so we have the Page of Swords in reverse, King of Pentacles also in reverse, and the Six of Pentacles upright. Okay, so what does your future self want you to know? So it feels like your future self wants you to know that expressing yourself, finding a way to express yourself is extremely important right now. Whether that's through being more vocal, journaling, expressing yourself creatively through your clothing, your hair, maybe on social media, maybe sharing maybe more parts of yourself or your hobbies, or your interests, or your knowledge, for example. It could be expressing yourself through physical activity, cooking, DIY projects, could be anything, right? But your future self is urging you to create and express. And it also feels like your future self doesn't want you to act on things without, planning, maybe big things, or things that could have repercussions, stuff like that. But yeah, your future self doesn't want you to act on things without really planning or without consideration, without real consideration. They want you to know that your efforts shouldn't be scattered, it shouldn't be done with angst, if that makes sense. They want you to know that rushing into things now or in the near future could cause more harm than good and possibly lead to, mistakes, maybe, delays and stuff like that. Your future self wants you to be careful, but not slow down, if that makes sense. They don't want you to pull back completely. They don't want you to slow down. They want you to actually keep any momentum you do currently have going. But at the same time, they just don't want you to be hasty. They want you to be, careful about what you're doing. And this could be random for some of you guys, I don't know, but your future self could want you to know that you need to refrain from being sarcastic, to be straightforward instead, being clear and being concise with what you have to say. They want you to know that you might feel overwhelmed in the near future, possibly due to a relationship, and their advice, for that particular situation is for you to take a step back, detach, not overthink that particular relationship. Don't let that relationship get you in your feelings. Practice in maybe being a bit stoic in those situations where relationships can be a bit frustrating, or a particular relationship. And they want you to know as well that being more mindful will be good for you and for your relationships. Your future self wants you to embrace growth and learning. For some of you, your future self is telling you there could be gaps in your knowledge, and it could be good for you to fill those gaps. And your future self also doesn't want you to lose that curiosity that you have, They want you to be aware of distractions or not getting lost in the minor details. Your future self wants you to maintain healthy boundaries and to say no when you need to. And your future self also wants you to know that it is, like right now, it's an important time of self-discovery, gaining greater insight into who you are, what you truly want, and finding maybe your unique voice and a unique perspective, or just a unique path as well. And your future self wants you to really kind of take that time, to figure that out and discover more of who you are and more of what you might want moving forward. And your future self also doesn't want you to take things too personally. Don't let things get to you so easily, And future you also wants you to know that there is absolutely no point beating yourself up, being critical of yourself, and instead they want you to show yourself, to show you now compassion, Your future self also wants you to know that you will have to be active in remedying any instability, any financial instability, and maybe for you to take a better look at your financial situation. They want you to know that you can find a way for some of you, it could be to make more money. And if that is something that you are wanting or something that you need, they want you to know that it will take hard work on your part and it will take persistence, but you will get there. They kind of want to reassure you that you will get there. And your future self also wants you to stop being, stubborn, maybe adapt when necessary. Your future self also wants you to avoid any unnecessary expenses. They also want you to be more generous. It doesn't have to be financially. In fact, for a lot of you, it doesn't really feel financial. This generosity could be with your time, resources, your knowledge, or just being more open with other people, or tolerant for some of you guys. And they want you to know that it's very important for you to be grateful, like very, very important for you to be grateful for what you have right now. And your future self also wants you to practice fairness, and more acts of kindness. Like your future self wants to see you both really, kind of doing that. So I actually pulled this card for what your future self is preparing you for. And we have turtle, sea turtle, and it says protection. You are a master of finding life's flow. Be in harmony with the rhythm and your path will unfold. Persevere and you will succeed. You have everything you need to be protected and happy. So your future self is actually preparing you to, like the messages that came out before, they're preparing you for, how do I say it? They're preparing you to find life's flow, kind of be in harmony, and kind of like in terms of your path unfolding, for you, and kind of like taking that time, to discover more, to figure out what you want. Like all of that is preparing you for a path to unfold, maybe like an easier path, or one that just makes more sense. So even if there is hard work and perseverance that's needed for this new path, it feels like it won't feel hard, if that makes sense, because it's something that feels right for you. So yeah, your future self is preparing you for hard work and perseverance in order for you to succeed. So we have make time for self-care, we have love life, we also have box, reveal your secret power, and we have mountain hill, reach your goals. So with box, reveal your secret power, it feels like your future self is preparing you to reveal something. Like all this time, the time that you will spend discovering parts of yourself, kind of gain an insight into yourself. It feels like you will shock yourself with what you find out about yourself, what you reveal and how that kind of manifests in your life. Your future self is also preparing you for, a period clarified by the Nine of Cups, like a period where you will be able to really take care of yourself, spend more time taking care of yourself, maybe taking it easy, maybe after a period of like working hard and persevering. So it feels like your future self is preparing you to, like with Mountain Hill, reach your goals, to like climb that mountain, put in the hard work to reach your goals. And then after that, maybe even during, to, really have that time for self-care and taking care of yourself, maybe, taking a break, traveling, kind of like just relaxing, stuff like that. And finally, it also feels like your future self is also preparing you for changes in your love life. Definitely feels like positive changes though. But yeah, that is all I have though. For those of you who chose this group, I do hope it could be helpful and I'm wishing you the best. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, then this reading could be for you. Your future self, what do they want you to know? You have Ace of Swords upright, Two of Swords upright, and the Knight of Swords in reverse. So your future self, what do they want you to know? So it feels like your future self wants you to expect new clarity and insight into certain things. Let me see. Could be relationships, could be work, it could be in a lot of different areas of your life actually. And it feels like your future self is kind of, urging you and encouraging you to welcome a mental breakthrough. Your future self is encouraging you to look for fresh perspectives on old problems, as a new viewpoint could offer, unique solutions. Your future self wants you to know that there is this new beginning coming for you, and they want you to know that it's important for you to prepare for that new beginning now. Maybe some of you are very aware of what this is. Maybe this is something that you've been working towards. Maybe this is kind of like a breakthrough for you, like something that you're expecting. But your future self wants you to prepare for those changes. And your future self wants you to know that even though, this new beginning will be very rewarding, they want you to be aware of the challenges as well. And it feels like that's why they want you to prepare. They also want you to be very decisive when it comes to your actions, It feels like, any clear decisions that you make now will shape like a better future, So your future self also wants you to know that taking a logical approach or, thinking logically when it comes to problem solving and being rational is, key for you right now and moving into the near future. Your future self wants you to focus on getting through and, cutting through any confusion And they want you to know that you having clarity is crucial in terms of your progress. Your future self also wants you to sharpen your communication skills. They want you to know that communicating in an effective way will aid in you achieving any goals that you have. Your future self also wants you to engage more in intellectual pursuits and goals. They want you to know that by continuously learning, it will be valuable for you. Your future self also wants you to strive for balance and harmony. It's like your future self is trying to put this emphasis on, what's the right word? Like keeping your equilibrium, if that makes sense. Your future self wants you to avoid procrastination and indecision. They want you to trust your ability and knowledge to make the right choices. Your future self also wants you to seek inner peace, or continue to seek that inner calm and, again, like equilibrium. Your future self wants you to know that kind of, keeping calm and keeping that kind of steady vibe to you is going to be important for your well-being moving forward. Your future self also wants you to confront reality, head on. Like they want you to know that potentially avoiding issues can lead to bigger problems, moving forward. And they also want you to focus on resolving conflicts peacefully. For some of you, your future self actually wants you to maybe aim for compromise, for it to be like a win-win situation as opposed to like one person coming out on top. So if you can seek out, like if you can resolve conflicts in a way where it ends in a compromise, that could be like a win. Like your future self might not want you to consider that as a loss. And your future self wants you to, carefully weigh your options, consider all the aspects before deciding. I think I said this only a moment ago, but your future self doesn't want you to, deny any problems you have, ignore them, and that addressing things, as they occur or head on is like essential for you right now. So your future self with the Knight of Swords in reverse, like your future self wants you to like not be impulsive, curb any impulsive tendencies that you might have or you might feel in the near future. Definitely encouraging you to think before you act. And again, that comes with that inner peace and that inner calm. And your future self wants you to know that just rushing into things, being impulsive can lead to mistakes, can lead to problems and challenges that you just might not need or can be avoided. So your future self also wants you to be cautious of recklessness in other people, as, maybe being around that energy, partaking in it, ignoring it, can have negative consequences for you. And your future self also wants you to know that empathy is important, or it will be important moving forward into the near future. So your future self overall just wants you to, with all these swords and cards as well, like they want you to, keep your focus, try to avoid being distracted, control your temper, control your emotions, stay calm and composed. Your future self also wants you to maybe reevaluate certain goals you have, maybe the methods or like the methods that you're taking to achieve some of these goals, you know, and to like make adjustments as necessary, you know. And your future self also wants you to listen to other people, hear them out. You don't necessarily need to take what they're saying, you know, to heart, or have what they're saying manifest in your life. But your future self does want you to listen, does want you to have empathy, and you know, listening to others. Your future self wants you to be aware that kind of listening to others, their perspectives, can provide you valuable insight as well, you know. And finally, like, your future self wants you to know that it's important for you right now to avoid being too aggressive or too pushy. So I pulled this card specifically for what your future self is preparing you for. And it says Elephant, Greatness. Okay, so with the Elephant, it says greatness, love is your strength, leadership is your path, your wisdom inspires everyone you meet, you can overcome any problem, you will naturally and easily achieve success. So it feels like your future self is actually preparing you for leadership, for a leadership position at some point, you know, in the near future. And it could just be you, you know, stepping up, you know, stepping into that position in, you know, in yourself and in your own life. This doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, a leadership position in your work. I mean, if that's something that you are aiming for, then of course. But it feels like just that internal self-confidence and that independence, and, you know, feeling like you have control over your path and where you're going, and just leading your own life in a positive way and in a positive direction. And it also feels like your future self is preparing you to be inspired by another person's wisdom, or kind of like preparing you to be open to it. Like if you hear someone say something that kind of just rings true for you, and kind of like makes sense, and it just helps something click. So your future self is really preparing you to be open to what other people have to say, and how that can, you know, positively impact your life, you know. So we have wellness, and we also have be gentle with yourself. And we have ocean, go with the flow, and we have naked, dare to bear all. So in terms of what your future self is preparing you for, with ocean, go with the flow, it feels like they are preparing. Yes, your future self wants you to be, you know, logical and rational and calm. And maybe with that, your future self also wants you to, you know, go with the flow and being open to, let me see, maybe being open to the possibilities, or just kind of like moving through life without that haste, without that angst, without that, you know, that pressure. And with wellness, it also feels like your future self is preparing you for better health in some way, whether that's emotional, mental, physical health. With be gentle with yourself, it feels like your future self, this doesn't necessarily feel like it's directed to you, but it feels like your future self is preparing you to be gentle with other people, and kind of seeing like the story behind the person, you know, kind of like not seeing the surface level when it comes to people, and instead like seeing, you know, everything else that there is to that person, you know, why they are the way they are, and, you know, their interests, their dislikes, whatever it might be. So yeah, your future self could be preparing you to kind of like be gentler with other people, being softer, and you know, that could come with practicing empathy. And finally, we have naked, dare to bet all. It feels like your future self is preparing you to, you know, be vulnerable, and maybe even allowing other people to be vulnerable with you as well, right? But that is all I have, though, for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, then this reading is for you. I hope you guys are doing okay. What does your future self want you to know? So to start off, we have King of Swords in the upright position, Hierophant reversed, and the Knight of Cups also in reverse. So what does your future self want you to know? So it feels like your future self wants you to know that it's important for you to, you know, seek out and maintain clarity in your thinking, in your decisions, in, you know, perspectives that you adopt or already have. Your future self wants you to know the importance of really maintaining that clarity in your life and in your mental space. They want you to step into roles of leadership and authority. They want you to do that with confidence as well. Your future self also wants you to, you know, continue to be truthful, continue to act with integrity in all your, you know, in all your goals and endeavors. Your future self wants you to develop, you know, a clear plan. Your future self wants you to develop strategic plans as well for your goals. They want you to be analytical and use analytical thinking to solve your problems effectively, or problems that could crop up in the future. So your future self also wants you to, you know, be decisive, and when you are ready to take action, to be decisive in that action that you're taking. Do it with conviction, do it with confidence, you know. Your future self wants you to, this could be like advocating for fairness, for justice in your life, in the world around you, in other people's life. But they do want you to maintain discipline, you know, and focus on your goals, on your objectives. Your future self also wants you to know that if you feel that your guidance, your advice, and your mentorship could help someone else, then your future self is encouraging you to do it. So that could come with you stepping into that position of authority and, you know, leadership, and doing so with confidence, you know. So your future self really wants you to have confidence in what you can not only offer yourself, but what you can offer other people and environments. So yeah, your future self wants you to approach situations with logic and reason. They want you to, you know, try to be objective, like, and keep an objective perspective in situations that can be, you know, challenging. And your future self really wants you to rely on that strength, that mental strength that you have, in order to overcome obstacles as well. So your future self, they want you to know that, this could be something that you're already doing and they want to tell you to keep doing it, or this is something that they're encouraging you to do, but they want you to, challenge things that could be quite conventional, and to not be afraid to explore new ways of thinking. If you are already challenging things that's conventional, they want you to continue doing that, and they want you to know that by doing that, it's having a positive effect on you, them, your future self, your life in the near future. So they want you to continue doing that. Your future self wants you to, continue embracing your individuality. So yeah, your future self also wants you to, remain open to not conforming, and if you already do this, like questioning beliefs that are already, established. If this isn't something that you're doing, but something that you kind of, feel uncertain about, like maybe, you want to, not kind of like ruffle feathers, or you don't want to like break away from the norm, but at the same time, you might feel like, is what's already established, is that right? Is it right for me? Does it make sense for, where you're at, or where, society is kind of moving into? Like, your future self wants you to know that if you are questioning certain things about, certain traditions and certain, norms, that it's okay to question those things. So your future self wants you to kind of like seek out your own, spiritual path, your own understanding of things. It doesn't only need to be in a spiritual sense, but just because something is widely adopted, it doesn't make it, right, or it doesn't make it what's best for you, So your future self really wants you to like consider those things. So your future self also wants you to be flexible. They want you to be adaptable, in maybe in your beliefs, in some of your practices. Could be in some other areas of your life as well. Your future self wants you to be innovative, They want you to not be afraid to bring your fresh ideas to things that could be already quite, traditional, like they already have their ways of doing things, but they don't want you to feel like you need to kind of put yourself in that box. So if you do have, a fresh way of approaching something, then your future self is really encouraging you to, do that. So it feels like your future self really wants you to think critically, and, to just question things. They want you to continue to be authentic, be true to yourself, your values, embrace autonomy. And, it really feels like your future self wants you to rebel in some way against things that could be considered outdated, but they want you to do it in a way that's constructive, not destructive, and, they want you to continue to find creative solutions to problems. They want you to, they want your perspective to continue to grow and evolve with new experiences and, new insights that you might gain. They want you to stay open-minded and, be willing to learn from a lot of different sources, from a diverse range of sources. So yeah, your future self also wants you to engage in creative activities, activities that really inspire you though. They want you to trust your intuition and let it guide you. So your future self really does want you to actively pursue your dreams and your passions. They want you to actually live passionately, as well, and wholeheartedly. They want you to be, a positive influence on those around you too. So your future self wants you to use that lovely charm that you have, your endearing qualities to actually, build connections that can be valuable. So yeah, your future self wants you to continue this journey that you've been on in terms of self-discovery. They want you to form deep and meaningful connections with other people. So for some of you, your future self also wants you to, address any emotional imbalances, uh, like, do what you can and what works for you to kind of like seek stability and harmony in terms of your emotions. Your future self wants you to kind of face reality head on, avoid like forms of escapism, and, deal with issues directly. They want you to avoid escaping from reality through habits that could be quite unhealthy as well. They want you to find constructive ways to cope, with certain things. And they also want you to know that setting realistic expectations for yourself and for other people will be extremely helpful for you. And for some of you, your future self also wants to maybe warn you about idolizing, situations, people, you know. So yeah, your future self could also want you to focus on improving your communication skills, kind of ensuring clarity in your interactions with people. And for some of you, if like being idealistic in romantic situations is something that you've maybe struggled with, your future self really does want you to kind of focus on that and finding balance, when it comes to like idealizing someone in a romantic way. They want you to be practical and they want you to be grounded with your expectations, so your future self is really encouraging you and urging you to be realistic. So your future self also wants you to kind of create a plan and follow through with those plans in terms of, maybe finding a clear direction for your goals. And once you have found a clear direction, they want you to create this, plan and, follow it through. And finally, your future self wants you to know that if you are experiencing some creative blocks, or if you experience some creative blocks down the line, they want you to explore new forms of inspiration, and allow yourself to experiment a little bit as well. Okay. So I pulled this card specifically for what your future self is preparing you for. And we have dog, friend. It says, today I will love without condition. My energy and my enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am a protector and a friend. So I feel like the message from this card is pretty simple. It feels like your future self is preparing you for maybe a new friendship, new connections. So we also have angel, tap into your higher wisdom. We have reconnect with your innocence. We have easy does it. And we also have natural beauty and authenticity. So in terms of easy does it, your future self wants you to know that you taking a gentle approach to certain things will be really helpful for you now and moving into the near future. With Angel, tap into your higher wisdom. Your future self wants you to know that you are someone that does have a lot of wisdom. It's okay to tap into that wisdom, share it as well, with the King of Swords being down there. So there's this energy of you kind of stepping into this position, or this energy of leadership and authority and control, and just knowing and feeling stable in yourself. But at the same time, like, your future self doesn't want you to lose that playfulness that you have. So your future self wants you to kind of have a balance between that playful energy and that serious energy of, leadership and being in control and being stable. And finally, with natural beauty and authenticity, your future self wants you to embrace your natural beauty. They want you to know that you are naturally beautiful. Your future self wants you to be authentic, remain authentic, be yourself, and, love yourself for who you are. So that other people can do the same, But yeah, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best. Please take care. Bye.